everybody, I'm Merisu the Art Sheep, and thank you so much for watching the speed paint. And as you can see from the time slot, this one is a long one, and it's also my first personal video of the year. Yay, I've been doing a lot of fan art and reviews and such, as you can see, and after that big, long wish review, I wanted to do something a little bit positive, and also something a little bit personal. So this is the promotional art of my original series, Revolution in Full Color. So yeah, I thought I would draw it and give you guys kind of a plot summary. I actually did this once before, but that video was it's not very good. It's kind of outdated now because I kind of changed some of the characters' designs and updated the information and such. So let's just ignore that one. We'll pretend it never existed. So this is the only video you need to go to for the go-to information. And after this, I think I might even re-upload the original chapters as well. So far I've got 2 done. So I thought I might update those because there was some spelling errors in it and also a few art errors. So I thought I might fix those. But until then, enjoy this promotional art and plot summary, synopsis, pitch. I don't know what you want to call it. Anyway, let's just get on with this show. Our series takes place on fictional island nation of Light Islands. Long ago in the year 1984, a man named Albert Beckford discovered a mysterious woman trapped in a strange pool of water in Twin Star National Park. This woman turned out to actually be a spirit named Lucidian, and she originated from an alternate dimension called Hollows. Albert Beckford began to befriend this spirit over a period of time. Finally, the two made a pact, and Lucidian gave Albert a seed to plant underneath the building where he worked, which was a place called Sunshine Pharmaceutical Labs. This seed would grow into something that would change the fate of the entire world, and for Light Islands, it would never be the same. Years later, in 2012, on December 21st, Lucidian made her first real public appearance. She came to the people of Earth like a prophetess and foretold their soon approaching doom because the humans have polluted the Earth with their sin against it. Their world was heading towards an unstoppable judgment. There was nothing that they would be able to do to prevent it. The judgment would come no matter what. However, Lucidian said she felt pity on the poor, pitiful race known as humanity, and therefore she offered them a second chance, a ray of hope that would be left to the future generation of the Light Islands. She promised that all children born in and after the year 2012 would be blessed with superpowers that would be able to withstand the oncoming judgment and also save past generations as well. More years passed and nothing happened. Well, except for more political chaos through terrorist attacks, riots, insurrections, conflicts, and wars. And from what nation that wasn't suffering through problems brought on by man, they were facing problems brought on by nature itself, from massive floods, earthquakes, wildfires. They all did massive damage, and some were impossible to repair. However, in 2020, things began to change when it was discovered that the children of the Light Islands were starting to have powers. At first, the government tried to keep a lid on it, but it did not last for very long as too many children were being born that had powers, and they were all starting to awaken at once. Sunshine Labs was one of many labs that were assigned by the government to help take care of things, and though some good did come out of their actions at first, this also specifically gave Sunshine more control over the nation. Although many of private organizations also popped up independently of the government's orders that legitimately just simply wanted to help kids adjust to these superpowers. Soon, though, everything changed again in the year 2025, although I suppose this was a more natural progression considering all that transpired. A boy named Robert Kevin Williams came out as the first superhero, aka Novus, Boy Wonder. After this, more superheroes began to pop up, and for a moment, despite all the things that were transpiring, despite how much chaos seemed to be in the world, was in the Light Islands, things were getting back to normal, as weird as it sounds, and they were peaceful. Of course, this didn't last. Everything changed when a horrible incident transpired involving Novus that killed over 800 people, and after this, the hero Novus was never seen again. It was believed that he died in the incident. Sunshine Labs said that this was a result of his powers rebounding and going out of control, and because of this, the horrible incident transpired. After this, all superpowered children were advised to wear collars that would help keep their powers under control. And later, Sunshine released a drug called Limiter that would help do the same without the need of constantly wearing a collar. Many of people did not like the amount of control that Sunshine was given. They also did not trust that their drug Limiter was completely saved. Some people even believed that they were just taking advantage of a bad situation to gain more control. Others believed that they even created the bad situations to gain more control. And so, the people protest them. This did not fare well. It is now the year 2038, and the Light Islands is a happy place. It is filled with wonderful people, and until now, it is still the only nation that can produce superpowered people. Other nations have tried, but with little success, and because of this, they are the leading nation in much different fields of innovation. Everything is perfect, and this can be a paradise, provided you do what you are told and obey the government entirely. After all, it is the government that knows what is best for you, and the ones who help guide the government in deciding what is best for you is none other than Sunshine Labs, which is now headed by Dr. Zhang Lu. Many rumors spread about the cruel experiments Dr. Zhang Lu did on these superpowered children in hopes that their powers would evolve even further. In addition to that, the overreach of control that the government possesses is suffocating. It is also not easy to live if you are someone who does not have superpowers here, and you suffer discrimination for not being the special. And even if you do have superpowers, if you don't go along with the government completely, then you're marked as a social pariah, labeled an outcast. To fight back against the government totalitarian overreach, a new group of people sprung up, known as Lightbringers, and they began to grow in the shadows, waiting for a chance to overthrow their tyrannical leaders. However, there are some people who simply just wish to exist in this world, having no desire to be a slave to the government, but also no will to fight against them either. Just how do those people live? Well, let's take a look, shall we? Enter our main heroine, Misato Yushoko. She is a young woman of 18 years old who is set off to achieve one thing in life, and only one thing, and that is for her and her Katsumi to live in a way that is most comfortable to her and in any manner she desires. She will do nearly anything at any cost, regardless of those she hurts, to achieve this goal. One way she rationalizes this selfish line of thought is that there really is no one left near her to hurt. Well, outside of her cowardly hacker known as XR and a disgraced illegal doctor named Marlone. And so, Misato Yushoko spends her time going back and forth between three ever personas which she had crafted that allows her to live the life that she desires. One moment, she might be the incredible elusive thief known as Neko. She wears a bright-colored hoodie that has a cat tail and cat ears attached to it. Although this Criminal has just recently come onto the scenes. When compared to other criminals, she has quickly made a name for herself as she has pulled off several heists without being caught by the heroes. And in fact, many of times she hasn't even been seen. The heroes who have witnessed her did not find her anything to be that spectacular, and in fact, they saw her to be slightly pathetic, as she seemed quite prone to having bad luck, which people believe is the origin behind her name, as it is Japanese for black cat. Which we all know black cats are notorious for their bad luck. Despite this, though, she has always managed to get away, which has made her quite a nuisance to security guards and heroes alike, and a Robin Hood to those who are not fond of government's law enforcement. When she is bored of her Kuro Neko mask, she will switch to a new one, so to speak, a digital mask known as Live Color, who is the host of Revolution in Full Color, which is an illegal show that appears on the dark web, over radio, and among other various methods. It will even sometimes pop up randomly when you're browsing the internet or surfing the channels. She mostly gives retrospective commentary on society and even the government at times, although she claims that the latter is a bore to her and she never talks of it in a serious manner. She delivers all of her message in a rapid-fire succession with a high amount of energy. She seems to have no respect for anyone and is not afraid to speak her mind. She has not come out in support of neither the revolutionists nor the government, but simply because she takes no stance and has equally stated negative and positive thoughts on both. This has given the appearance that she is warmer to the revolutionists than the government, and as so, those who are respectful, good members of society are more positioned to have a dislike for this woman, while those who are on the side of the revolution find her to be an inspiration and say that she is a symbol of someone who can live without fear of the government. Since Live Color mostly just talks in radio show-like format, her face hardly ever is seen. When she has let herself be physically seen, it's only an avatar, which appears wearing a long coat, a cat ear hoodie, and a smile mask over her face. And finally, the third is an artist known as Fan Lu Mao. Unlike the others, she is not boisterous or theatrical in the slightest. It is also the persona with the smallest reputation. In fact, she does her best to have no reputation at all, and comes off more to be a wallflower, and is really only seen in the west side of Light City, which is considered the wealthier side of the island. She is determined to just draw in public without having any human disturbance. Because of this, she mostly goes unnoticed. However, if you were to ask someone about her, they would say that they always spot her in the corner of their eye, just silently drawing whatever she pleases without the care in the world. If someone does try to speak to her, she speaks in a mix of Chinese and broken English, and as so, people believe she is an immigrant. And because of this, people do not bother her for the most part. To make sure she is not spotted, she wears a red wig, violet eye contact lenses, and big round eyeglasses. All of these personas equally make up Misato Yoshiko. However, no one outside of her partner XR truly knows the real Misato Yoshiko. This all changes though when she accidentally stumbles across the revolutionist group known as Nightblight, which is a smaller faction of the larger revolutionist group, Lightbringer. At first, she tries to stay out of their way and wants absolutely nothing to do with them, and yet she keeps running into them by pure coincidence. However, slowly she starts to get infatuated with them, especially their leader, Go. And so she realizes the thing she wants most, that she believes that will complete her fairy tale lifestyle, is a Prince Charming to go to her Snow White. And so she's determined to make Go hers. But to do this, she realizes that she's going to have to be a less selfish person. and it is here Misato Yoshiko will be put to the test. Misato's superpower is lifeblood, also referred to as live blood or sometimes free blood. When her blood is exposed to air, it can expand and be manipulated freely with her mind, and as so, she can shape it into anything she wills and even change the pigment of the blood as well. She typically will turn it into weapons from a katana, bullets for an airsoft gun, grappling hook, spears, balls, etc. There is a limit to how long the blood can stay out of Misato's body before reverting back to normal blood and she can no longer control it. Also, the bigger / denser the object is, the more blood it will take. Another side effect of her blood is that the blood itself is toxic, leaving a slight acidic-like burn on anything it touches, and it can be fatal if it was to get into someone else's bloodstream. However, if it reverts back to normal blood as it has been out of her body too long, then it will no longer have these properties. Next up, we have Misato's partner, XR, real name unknown to everyone but Misato and Dr. Malone. He never leaves his and Misato's hideout, staying mostly at his computer, working on his robots or building things to aid Misato. He helps Misato through his unbelievable computer skills, which also extends to being an expert hacker and programmer. He is also capable of some engineering as well. And so, when she is Neko, he will help her by giving her gadgets and also hacking the security systems of any building she would be sneaking into. When she is Live Color, he helps take care of all of the Revolution Full Color's technical needs. And as Fan Lu Mao, well, he really just primarily helps as acting as a GPS, as she really doesn't know her way around the city because she's never really bothered with learning anything. The relationship seems to be mostly platonic and based off of mutual aid, although it does seem like there was something more between them a long time ago. However, it is unknown by all, well, except those two, as to what it was. And considering that they both seem to be more than a little annoyed by each other, this leaves people quite confused as to why they would even bother working together. Dr. Zhang Lu is the main antagonist of the series. She is the current head scientist and majority shareholder at Sunshine Labs. Those who truly know how things work on the Line Islands firmly believe that she is the true leader of the nation, as it is Sunshine that gives the protocols of what to do in a superpowered emergency, since they are the experts in it, and these protocols are given to the government and shape how it is run. And since Zhang Lu controls all of the majority of major decisions that affect government policy at Sunshine Labs, that means she is in effect control of the government. Hence her nickname by Live Color as the Evil Queen, or EQ. It is believed that she has connections to Misato Yoshiko, but it is unknown as to what that might be. Since she was born in 1997, she has no superpowers and is incapable of getting them, just like everybody else born before 2012. However, she still is a very dangerous woman due to all the control she has obtained in her life. Vitus is Dr. Lu's main bodyguard and right-hand man, and as so, he does all of her dirty work. Despite him only being 17, he is extremely powerful and well-skilled in combat, trained to be the perfect weapon and shield. His abilities are only matched by his undying loyalty towards Dr. Lu. His superpowers, however, are classified, and those who have been unfortunate enough to see them typically do not live to tell about it, and those who are not killed by him are ordered by the government to keep silent about them. Nightlight is a branch of Lightbringer. They act as the Revolution's vanguard group. It consists of 7 members. Despite all appearances, each one of them are the best of the best. They are capable of espionage, combat in hand-to-hand, weapons, and superpowers. All but one of them have extremely strong superpowers. Together, they train daily in hopes of being powerful enough to be the ones who will take down the government. Due to the secrecy within Lightbringer, all members are not allowed to share their real names, and as so, all members of Nightlight have codenames and only refer to each other by these codenames. Go is the main leader of Nightlight. He is 18 years old. His superpower is known as Go Ring, and as so, he can generate rings which can launch himself, other people, and objects through it at a rapid speed. He also uses a sword with him in combat, which combined with his speed makes for devastating attacks. He's also trained in hand-to-hand and firearms. He is considered by his teammates as an ideal leader, being strong, reliable, and having ability to make good judgment calls, even in stressful situations. Because of all of these attributes, his teammates do not second guess him at being their leader, as they all believe he was the best choice. He, however, is slightly unsure about his ability to be the best leader, and the burden does weigh on him from time to time. However, he keeps this hidden from his teammates and does not let it affect his job, making victory for him and his teammates be his only priority. Co-leader is Casmir, being the oldest at 18 and a half years old. He is also the only one on the team who does not have any superpowers. But despite this, he is still well trained in weapons from melee to firearms. He is also quite good at hand-to-hand combat and is very strong despite not having superpowers. He is more quieter than most on the team. Actually, he hardly ever speaks at all. But despite this, he makes it quite clear that he cares about his teammates very much. He has a strong desire to take down the government, which he alludes to ruining his life. V is Go's younger sister, and their go-to for espionage, thanks to her ability of visibility ray. She can turn herself and anything and anyone she touches invisible, while also masking their presence. So, despite her energetic and bubbly and somewhat loud and childish personality, she is quite skilled at what she does. Her one drawback is, though, that she is not the most dangerous at being a physical threat. But she makes up for this by carrying a gun, which she is quite good at using, and she is still considered to be very skilled. Switch is the next member of the team. She is 17 and a half years old. Her powers are known as Swap Switch. She can make two things, be it an object or a person, and make them switch places with each other by instant teleportation. She can only do this, though, if the target she is attempting to switch are in her line of sight. Also, the targets that she switches must be close to the same weight and size. She is the only non-public one of the team, as her identity is something that cannot be put at risk, as her uncle is a secret supporter of Nightlight. And as so, she mostly gives aid by helping deliver things to them in secret. She also likes to cook and clean around the hideout in hopes of helping, although she is not very good at it. Despite her shyness and naivete of the world, she is very kind and does mean well. Lemon is the 17-year-old assassin of the team, and also their go-to girl for current information. Her powers are acid. She can melt through almost anything with an acid that is secreted through her skin. She can actively choose to make it come out, although there are times she has trouble controlling it, although she does not like to admit that to the team. In addition to her acid having the ability to melt through even solid steel, it can also be extremely poisonous when breathed in. It cannot be breathed in very easily, though, when it is in its acidic form. Lemon is the most mature one out of all the females, yet she still is fun, quick-witted, and sassy, although like her namesake, she can also be sour at times. Leviathan is the second youngest out of the boys, being 17 years old. His powers are known as aura energy. He can generate a powerful aura that can be shot out of his hands like a laser gun and can do major damage, even to solid steel if he puts enough power behind it. What is amazing about his aura is it is not just a weapon, but it can also be used to heal himself and others, provided he touches the injured part of the body with his hands. However, with the way how his aura energy works, there is a limit to what he can heal, as it merely speeds up the body's own natural healing ability. It also means that it requires energy to heal someone, his own energy to use the powers just in general, and the energy of the person he is healing. Using too much could put himself at risk of exhaustion or even worse, and if the person he is healing does not have enough energy within him, it will have no effect. He is considered to be the class clown of Nightlight, being a little bit more of a goof when compared to the rest, and absolutely loves showing off, having a frill for the theatrical side of being an outlaw. This can get him into trouble, which can annoy his teammates, especially his younger brother. His younger brother is Viper, who is the youngest member of the team, being only just 14 years old. His powers are a rare one, known as Mutant, subcategory Snake. His body has the appearance and abilities of a snake, specifically a rattlesnake, including a snake-like tail with a rattle at the end of it, increased speed, strength, flexibility, and fangs that can inject lethal venom. But it also has its drawbacks too, as he cannot go outside in extreme heat or cold, and he also has poor vision. Because of the drawbacks of his powers and his unmistakable appearance that makes it impossible for him to hide his identity, he stays at Nightlight Hideout all of the time, never leaving, not even once. However, he manages to help his team via his incredible computer skills and hacking abilities. Despite him only being 14, he has skills beyond his years, and as so, he aids Nightlight the same way XR aids Misato. He has a foul, grumpy personality that is easily annoyed, especially by his brother, Switch's naivete and clumsiness, and V's insistence to be his friend. Despite this, he finds each one of them to be his comrades and friend. And the final two characters who I thought I should mention, who are not here on this drawing but are important to this series, are Misato's cat Sumi and Dr. Marlone. As for Dr. Marlone, he isn't here on this drawing because I didn't have room for him, but even more reason because I didn't have his design yet, like anything at all. So I wasn't even going to attempt to try and put him on this drawing. So for now, just picture him like David Tennant because he's at the same age and he's a doctor. Yes, I'm aware Tennant isn't a real doctor, it's a joke. Dr. Marlone, or Mar as Misato calls him, is her and XR's personal doctor. He also extends his services to those who can pay his fee. He operates out of an illegal clinic he owns, which is hidden away on the east side of Light City, which is considered the more poorer district of the island. He is slightly more cautious now about those who he takes on as his patients, only taking those he deems to not be a threat to him and who are desperate, as desperate people tend to act before they think. He was once a high-standing doctor at a fairly prestigious hospital. However, he was kicked out, robbed of his medical license, and publicly shamed due to him not going along with the current narrative, and his unwillingness to bend the knee cost him everything, including his family. Although the loss of his family was primarily due to his pride and stubbornness in refusing to admit that he could be wrong. Now, as for Sumi, he's just missing because, well, I plain forgot him. Poor Sumi. But I might squeeze the fat cat in at the end, off camera, before this drawing goes into post. Reason I'm going to be doing this off camera is because this video is already long enough, as you can see. Sumi is Misato's best friend and loyal companion. There is no one on Earth who Misato is more fond of and has a deeper sense of trust towards. He was a gift from her mother. He loves spending time with Misato and often follows her around. Misato also pretends that he talks to her and has one-sided conversations where she imagines his replies. His imaginary replies often act as her conscience and her voice of reasoning that pushes her to do the right thing. At times, she can get carried away with these pretend conversations with him and can come off seemingly a bit crazy because of it. She still does it anyway, as it helps her think through her problems, and the two make an inseparable pair. Okay, we're back, and by back, I mean the script is gone, the script has left the building, ran out of script, that was all the script I wrote, so we are back to our regularly scheduled talking out of our rear end portion of the video. Hopefully all that information was interesting, probably not that much if you don't really know what the series is about, but I'm hoping that I will be able to do as much as I want in this series and provide some really entertaining. Revolution in Full Color, like I said before, is my practice series. My two series that I really am gonna work on hard, like I actually want them to actually be successful, would be Blue Song and Tales of Hollows. Tales of Hollows have got like nothing written, and Blue Song I actually do got a lot of Blue Song already written. It's just that I want more experience of working with a graphic novel, manga, comic, whatever you want to call this, so I can get more of the feel of how it's done before I do it, because like I said, it's not anything spectacular. Blue Song is just a simple slice of life romance, nothing out of the ordinary, but I still do think it actually has a little bit more what it takes to be actually a good series, like one that I'm not sure if like sell, but maybe like do an Indiegogo, Kickstarter, whatever you want to call it, something like that. But I need experience first, and I figured this would be the best way. It's something very experimental, and definitely requires a lot. Got a big main cast, as you can see, so it's very demanding. But I figured start hard, and then Blue Song, which is a lot more simpler, a lot more down to earth. That will be, if I can do this, then I can do that. And then if I do Blue Song, then I can graduate to Tales of Halls, which is also a big cast and very much more high fantasy. But this one, Tales of Halls is like my baby. It's my baby. So I want that one to be perfect. Which means this probably will never get done. But for now, I'm just doing Revolution full color. And it is a passion project. It is becoming a passion project. I am very much falling in love with the characters. And hopefully I got the editing right where you can see each character as I'm talking about them. Because I wasn't matching the audio up to who I was drawing at the moment. I figured, like, maybe I should try to do that. But then I was like, knowing me, I'm probably going to mess up. And it's not going to be good. So let's not even attempt it. Let's just not attempt it. So I'll just make their profile pictures pop up, which, like I said earlier, that's another reason why I wanted to redo this whole entire introduction, because I updated their designs. Some of them are very minor, like in the case of Switch, who I'm designing now. All of that I really changed of her is I changed her eyes from black to red, because color theory is kind of a big theme in my series. So I wanted a little bit more red in her outfit. And in the case of my main member of Nightlight, Go, I got rid of the side kind of, like, he had this part of his head that was a little bit more, it sounds so cringe when I say it, but it was a little bit more shaved and had braids, and it was something that I had just designed because I wanted to try something new, be experimental, because that's what this entire series is about. But then I'm just like, it looks kind of stupid. So I just made it even. It's just a little bit more, less spiked on that side. So, yeah. Get rid of some of the cringe. In the case of Lemon, I made her have yellow gloves because I like the idea of each one of them having colored gloves, kind of like in Persona 5. Everyone except for Switch, because like I said, she is not a public member. And by public, I mean she doesn't go out on missions and stuff. I probably should have explained more what that meant. But yeah, Switch doesn't go on missions because she is the daughter to a rich family, but her uncle is the secret supporter of Nightlight. But because, which is how she found out about Nightlight, but because her family is more, rich and stuff, she can't risk her identity. Even if she was wearing a mask, it would be too much of a risk to put her out on the field. So she just stays around the hideout and helps. And like I said, color theory is very strong theme in my series. Not so much in like the idea of it's absolutely integral to the plot, but I did make each of them have their colors for a reason. In the case of Vitus, he is on the opposite color scheme of Misato. So with Misato, she is based off the CMYK color scheme. Her entire outfit is based off of my printer, but her entire color scheme is based off of the CMYK. That's pretty much how I figured her. I was watching Teen Titans, saw the hero villain Brushigan, and I'm like, oh, that would be really cool to have a hero or villain who is like that. So that's how Misato came into being. But anyway, that is what Misato is based off of. Vitus is the complete opposite, so he is RGB, and then white, and then in the case of Nightlight, originally there was just going to be actually 3 of them, and they were going to be RGB, so the only ones who existed were Go, Switch, and V. V had a different design. I gave her design to Lemon, and then I took Lemon and gave her a new design. So the design that was originally V's, someone else, a complete small minor character. In fact, she's actually a friend of Switch's. So like I said, it was originally supposed to be V's design, then it became Lemon's design, and then it became a minor character's design. And so originally it was just those three, and they were going to be on the RGB scale, but then I wanted more, and I thought it would be nice if I did, like, I think I came up with Casmir next, and I made him orange. Because I also, in addition to them each being color-coded, they were also based off of an object. And Casmir was originally supposed to be based off of a prescription medicine bottle, and that is why he's orange. But I couldn't incorporate white into his design because that would not work. You can't really hide while wearing white. And then also on top of that, white is the color of that the Light Island government uses, so I didn't really want any white design in his design, even if I could have it. So no white in his design, but that is what he was based off of. In the case of Switch, if it's not obvious, she's based off of the Nintendo Switch. Go is based off of a ghost sign. V is based off of PS5. Lemon is based off of lemonade, and then Leviathan and Viper. Viper was originally supposed to be blue, and he was based off of the Viper security virus protection software. I think I used to have that on my computer a long time ago. And then in the case of Leviathan, he was going to be purple, and it was just supposed to be Leviathan, but then for some reason I ended up switching the colors. Funny fact, those were actually the last two characters I designed. I actually designed them only because I needed two more, because I figured if I'm gonna do like I said, originally supposed to be RGB, then I made Casmir, and then I thought, what if I do the entire rainbow? So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 characters for my series. So yeah, that's how I got it. And I realized if I'm gonna have 7 colors, then it needs to be 7 characters, and I couldn't think of who to pick. So I just first made Viper, and I didn't really know. I was just kind of like, okay, he'll be the hacker, and then I was like, I need one more, and it's like I was trying to figure out what to do, and then I realized I'm like my brother, and that's actually what really helped me actually create their entire backstories. And they went from 2 characters who were just put on as last minute to becoming actually probably my favorite members of Nightlight. But honestly, I like them all. I'm very happy with all of them. Very happy with their designs, very happy with their personalities, very happy with them just in general, and I can't wait till I get to the chapters with them in it, especially because right now I'm working on chapter 2. Chapter 2's biggest struggle is in the fact that it's a little bit hard with Misato's live color persona. So with her Kuro Neko and her Fanlu Mao persona, she's an artist as Fanlu Mao, and she's a thief as Kuro Neko. So it's very easy for me to think of what she will be doing and how to draw that. Well, not easy. Easy in theory, not easy in application, but I know what she should at least be doing. I have it perfectly in my mind. With live color, it's kind of like, okay, she's just going to... I have to first write the dialogue, which is already kind of hard because I need to make something that is suited to the persona that I'm coming up with, but at the same time I don't want it to make it too volatile, so I kind of have to tone it down, because if not, Misato would just be saying all the inappropriate things as live color, and I don't think I can get away with that. So that's one reason, but also I need to make sure I don't want to waste time, so I don't want live color to just be saying stuff to be saying stuff. I want it to be important. It doesn't all have to be something totally deep, like it's gonna be some big uber deep thing, but at least can't be, I don't want it to be wasting your time, because that's the number one thing that I think a writer should not do. That's the biggest sin that a writer could do, is wasting your time, and I don't want to do that. And then on top of that, beyond all that, it's just also illustrations, because it's like, I can't have her just be at like a desk talking to a radio, and then you have this long text level of speech. It just wouldn't be interesting, so I gotta change it up. And yeah, you could change up the angles, but I want to make it a little bit more interesting, so it's all about figuring out what to do with that. So that's one reason why chapter 2 is taking so long, and which is why I completely rewrote it, because it's like, okay, that's gotta that's gonna work. Plus, I also kind of figured out what live color really does, because yes, she's a radio host, but there's a little bit more to it. She's kind of like an elite. She's kind of like the gossip train, I guess you would say. She's the person who gets all the information and puts it all out there, and it could be major information to the most minor of stuff. She just does whatever she wants, because that's the entire reason why she did craft these personas, is she wanted to live in a way that was most comfortable for her. And there'll be more about it in the series. I'm not gonna say everything, but there's a reasoning why she picked each one of those types of persona, and her reasoning behind crafting each one of them. In the case of Kuro Neku, that one isn't any spoilers at all. She was just, you know, she doesn't really have any legal job. She's not like out in the front, so she's gotta make her money somehow. So she's gonna be a thief, and named Kuro Neku because she loves cats, and she's Japanese. So yeah, that makes sense. A little bit about the drawing though. One thing that I did do that was very fun is I kind of took the Kimetsu no Yaiba approach, where I color each one of them in all their outfits are black, but I colored each one of them in a slightly different shade of black. That's one thing I actually like in the anime of Kimetsu no Yaiba. In the manga, it's all their uniforms, Demon Slayer Corp uniforms, are just all black. But in the anime, they have a slightly different tint to them, and I actually really do like that. And so I took that approach for this. Originally, Revolution Full Color, I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but this is my second time actually recording this dialogue. I actually recorded it successfully one time, but then I ended up not liking it because I forgot a few things that I said. So hopefully I can manage to do it around this time. But in the case of Revolution Full Color, I originally started calling it like a cyberpunk genre series, but then the more I started getting around to actually figuring out what Revolution Full Color would be, and also setting up on what cyberpunk is, it's like, this isn't cyberpunk at all. I mean, it has a few running-esque themes that are similar to cyberpunk, like transhumanism of, you know, what makes a person human and such. I'm not sure if it's the proper word. I'm still in the morning brain, so I'm not quite functioning the way I should, but in the idea that you know, in cyberpunk, one running theme is, in a lot of them, not just the games, but in a lot of cyberpunk genres, is what makes a human a human. And in the case of Revolution Full Color, because superpowers have changed people so much, it basically would be like kind of like a Uberman, Superman in the psychology term. Basically, what makes a human? Are certain humans more superior than others? If so, what is that characteristic? So that is one running theme in Revolution Full Color. It's hopefully gonna be a lot better than the way I just explained right there. I'm not that smart. One thing I liked is one person said a series is only as smart as its writer, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. Hopefully I can mask my dumbness though. That's what I'm hoping to do. But anyway, coming back around, the secondary theme, the biggest theme, would be all about bettering oneself for the benefit of your family and friends. And through family and friends, we learned how to become better people, because I do believe that is something that's very important, and kind of pushing yourself to be less selfish for the benefit of those around you, your friends, your family, God. I believe that's one of the things that are very worth in the series. And yeah. In the case of Leviathan's design, I actually didn't update him at all. He's actually looks the same, and I'm very proud of it, because I think that's one thing I actually did like with Tales of Revolution Full Color and compared to Tales of Hollis. Is Tales of Hollis had a large cast too, but I didn't actually design any of them except for a few of them. Well, not any of them, but there's a huge chunk of them that I didn't design. There's more that are undesigned than are, and some of them are like there. I just have them like inserted in my head of what I want them to look like, but I never actually drew anything. And when I did try, nothing looked right, so it just looked bad. But in the case of Revolution Full Color, I think it's because I had less pressure. I just designed them, and it turned out so nice, and I didn't even have to think about it that hard. And it was like, yeah, This is really fun. I think that's one thing that actually motivated me to actually go through is this series. Because I have a few series, not just Blue Song and Tales of Halls, but I also got a couple more. I got The Amazing Adventures of Sisters Brandy and Champagne. Name needs a little bit of work. I had to keep on going back and coloring lemon shoes because I forgot them. But anyway, I also have I don't want any more girls allowed in my party. That's kind of my isekai thing because I believe that I should contribute to the long collection of bad isekais. And then I have one ever that's kind of an isekai too. That one I worked on the least. It's just the villain's the villain uses manga or for his prophecies, I think is what it's called. I don't know. It was the least one that was worked in progress. Like, obviously, if I can actually pull this off, so this is all Lord willing, God be Revolution Full Color, then Blue Song, then The Adventures of Sisters Brandy and Champagne, and then Tales of House, and then I don't want any more girls allowed in my party. Or something like that. Maybe Brandy and Champagne would be after Tales of Halls. It depends on how confident I am. But, it will all... take it all as it comes. I don't even think I'm gonna finish Revolution Full Color. But I'm gonna try. But, right now I'm stuck at the beginning. The beginning's always the hardest. So, usually what it's like is the very beginning is easy. I get that one hook chapter. And then I might go, like, a little bit further. And then I'm dead. And then I'm like... I need to get to that one part. So in the case of Revolution Full Color, it would be when Misato meets Nightlight. And once Misato meets Nightlight, I actually got everything planned. I got the story all written out. I know the ending. I know how the story ends. Like, the ending is actually relatively easy. My brother's like, oh, the ending's hard for me, but I'm the opposite. The beginning's harder. Like, maybe the first chapter, like in Tales of Halls, I knew the opening scene, and then that was it. My brain went dead for a minute, but I knew the opening scene, and then it was like a big nothing, and then until one of the main characters showed up again, I didn't have anything in between, so there was a little bit of a gap. So that was the hard part there, and Revolution Full Color is going to be the gap in between when Misato meets Nightlight. So it will be Misato's introduction and then maybe some introductions with Nightlight. I am trying to judge in my head of how much to do. I know writing your series as you go along isn't a good idea, so I definitely don't want to do that totally, but I am doing some things as I go along, because like I said, this is a practice series, but I'm just trying to figure out balance in my head how much of Nightlight I should show, because this is going to be a story where Misato is the main point of view character, so I don't want to deviate too far away from her, but I do want to give a solid introduction to Nightlight. In the case, okay, so now I'm drawing Viper. I wanted to talk a little bit about him because I didn't really spell this out. Yeah, he has a tail. Snakes don't have tails, but so because of that, a lot of people end up thinking he's a lizard, but no, he is a snake, and he's based off of a rattlesnake. The reason why I gave him a tail is because I didn't really want to do entire Lemia kind of creature, so I just wanted to so I just decided to give him a tail instead. And technically, I mean, my series isn't biblical, mainly because I don't like doing that stuff because it kind of seems a little wrong and sacrilegious, but I mean, technically, if you do go back to the biblical text, snakes did actually have legs and something. I mean, it was ordered to crawl on the belly, so yeah, I mean, it's there, so I guess you could say it's kind of based off of that concept. The entire reason why he's hacking, his entire skills are hacking, is because of him being based off of the virus, antivirus software known as Viper. And like I said, his original color was going to be blue, but I changed it. I forget why I switched him. I know I switched the ages. Originally, Viper was going to be the older one, and he was going to be blue. And then Leviathan was going to be the younger one. He was going to be purple. But I think I switched it because I liked the idea of a younger hacker, and I also like the idea of Purple Snake more than a blue snake. But I did put a little bit of blue in his outfit. Something that you can kind of tell that they're brothers, so they both have gold eyes and they both have the same color hair, just in reverse. With him, it's violet hair and blue bangs, where he has blue hair and violet bangs. So yeah. And like I said, I made him a hacker because of the whole antivirus software, but another reason why I made him a hacker was because I realized that if he's going to be a snake, and I actually wanted to kind of delve into the negative side effects of someone who would be like that, of how, you know, snakes function and stuff, then it would be a little bit harder for him to fight. So I figured him being a computer boy would be good. In terms of hacking abilities, I guess he was very much inspired off of Robin from Young Justice, who was my childhood crush when I was a little girl. Well, it wasn't that little. I was a teenager when Young Justice came out. Only season 1 was good though. But well, the entire idea of actually me creating Revolution Full Color to be like a superhero show, like I said, originally was going to be more cyberpunky, and I was like, this isn't cyberpunky, so I just got rid of that and just changed it to just plain old urban fantasy, modern urban fantasy, whatever you want to call it. But the one reason why I went so hard in the superhero direction is because I always find it funny how in series they kind of just skip to superheroes existing. They don't go into actually the, you know, unique part of what it would be like if how society would adjust. And in the case of my series, superheroes are only really coming from one place, and that would be the Light Islands. And so because of that, it would affect, I think, a lot of things in the world. And like a good example would be in My Hero Academia, it just kind of cuts to quirks already existing. It doesn't actually go, because according to the My Hero Academia lore, this isn't spoilers to My Hero Academia, but according to the My Hero Academia lore, everything was normal, baby born, powers, boom. Oh, wait, before I go on to that, I should explain what I'm doing here. I'm fixing her head, because I realized I made her hairline a little too high, and her eyes a little too low, and I thought, should I change it? And I'm like, I don't really feel like changing it. Maybe no one will notice. And I uploaded the whips, just to kind of show people what they would look like, and I was like, okay, no one's gonna notice, but then one person said about her forehead, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But then my brother took it into the Discord he was a part of, and they started playing tic-tac-toe on her dome. So I was like, okay, we gotta change that. But anyway, in the case of My Hero Academia, it's just average world, baby, and then next thing you know, a hero society. Like, no, if the hero started with children developing powers, then there's actually going to be a lot that I think you would want to go into. And I don't go into it that deep, but I do want to go into that a little bit. And especially in the flashbacks, I want to show what that would be like. And I can't account for everything because I'm not a genius. Like I said, a series can only be as smart as your writer. Hopefully I can get somewhat smart, because there's so much that I don't know, because it's like, oh, I gotta do so much research, which no wonder writers get paid good money, because it's like, writing is hard. I think people look at writing the same way people look at owning a bunny. It's a lot less work than owning a dog, but it still takes work to do. And in the case of writing is a lot more easier than doing like the hard labors of, like, you know, an engineer or something like that. There's gonna be less chance of death being involved and such. But at the same time, I mean, there could still be incidences if you're a writer, like doing research or going into major steep holes. But nonetheless, on average, you're not gonna die from your writing job. So there's gonna be a lot less risk in that, and you do get a lot of benefits from being a writer. But at the same time, I think because there's so much benefits in being a writer, people don't think that there's gonna be any work in it. And I'm not trying to, like, say that being a writer is like, oh, so much work. I think it's more than the fact that people just think that writing's going to be easy, so therefore I can do whatever I want, praise me for my slop. And I think that's one reason why so many stories suck now, because they're just doing anything that they want, and that's not good. But that's just my opinion. Why? I mean, there's also a few other reasons why I think writing a lot of stories and movies suck these days. at least the mainstream ones, but not all of them. I did see Fall Guy and I enjoyed that. It was simple, but I liked it. Story wasn't completely flawless of continuity errors and stuff, but it was still fun. It's just nice seeing a fun movie in theaters. I've been rewatching Recreator with my brother, and I've been making. Well, I'm rewatching it. He's watching for the first time. He doesn't like it that much. I do like it, but mainly because it has a lot of things that I do like, and I like art and creation and stuff like that. But anyway, my entire point of bringing that up is one of the flaws that he has as Recreator is it just kind of drags a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that point. And I think it's like it's not even just American media. I think a lot of media just in general. I think a lot of stories are getting very, very muddled. I don't think they're either running out of ideas. They don't know what to do. They're being driven by their politics instead of storytelling. They're not sure. They were here because they didn't really work for their position. They just kind of were thrown into this position because of different reasons, nepotism or whatever. And then so they think that it's going to be easy, and so they can do whatever they want. And I think that's one reason why a lot of stories are so lackluster. Like even some of the good ones, like Kimetsu no Yaiba, I do like it, but it's not anything that special. I think the one reason why it's liked so much is because it's so simple. But anyway, not saying my series is going to break the barriers. I don't want to do any of that subversion nonsense. I just want to make a simple series, and hopefully I can provide, and hopefully I can get people some entertainment, and hopefully I can get some experience of actually being a good writer. And Lord willing, after I'm done with this speed paint, I will re-release chapter 1 and 2. Well, I'm not sure about, 0. It's chapter 0. I'm not sure about 0, but I'm definitely going to do chapter 1 because there's some spelling errors and such in it. But I'm also going to fix some of the art mistakes as well. So I'm going to probably re-release both of those, and hopefully that will be very shortly after this. I also have another art related video planned, but I won't talk about that. So right now I'm just kind of messing around with the composition because it was very hard for me to put everything in a place where it would be seen. And then for, because I wanted Nightlight all at the top, Misato kind of in the middle, and then at the bottom, you can see these are her 3 personas, and I got them all color-coded because I kind of thought, oh, that would be kind of nice if she got her hand down on the ground, and out of it would be these 3 colors, and then they would shape into her personas. And the reason why I picked the colors for each one, so it's cyan, magenta, and yellow. So for yellow, I picked live color to be colored in yellow just because that would be the one that that's the only one really left for it. And then plus I also gave her a Watchmen style happy face mask, so I figured I'll just let that one be yellow. And then for this one, it is magenta, represented by magenta, but technically the outfit actually doesn't have magenta because her hair is more of a reddish color. And I actually do kind of like it how it is, because her Family Mao one has none of her color scheme in it, none of the CMYK, which makes sense. When she's Fanlu Mao, she doesn't want anybody to see her, so she's completely disguised. And then for live colored, that's more the outfit that she wears. She wears it when she's being live colored, but she also just wears it when she's lounging around the house. And it has a little bit of her color. It's got more black, but you can see the cyan, magenta, and yellow present in it. And then for the Ever one, it's more of just Kuro Neko one, which she also wears sometimes when she's also just walking around too, as Misato Yoshiko. It's got cyan, magenta, yellow, very prevalent in it, but still got like the black there. And I also kind of find it funny because her Kuro Neko one, originally I was thought of making a costume for her, but then I was like, I'll have to redraw all of chapter 1, and I don't want to do that. So the only difference is she has a mask, although I am going to go back and change it so the mask covers her hair, because I figured that might be a good idea. And yeah, this is pretty much it. One thing that actually really helped is my brother actually helped me with the composition, because originally I had everybody else way different and they were completely somewhere else. But my brother, I gave the file to my brother to take a look at because he's kind of good at figuring it out. Plus, it's also sometimes good to have someone who's not that connected to it, someone who can look at it more, without the whole entire muddled brain. And yeah, so he kind of positioned them, and I just kind of repositioned them a little bit from the way he had, so that way it would be a little bit more story and prevalent. Like in the case of V and Go, I wanted them to be near each other since they were siblings. And I'm doing their colored shadows. I'm gonna completely delete that because that didn't look good. It didn't look good, so I got rid of that. Oh man, there was so much thing I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was. Oh man, but in the case of the entire aesthetic that I was going for, like I said, it just be kind of like Misato in the front with XR kind of in the back as her shadow, and then she has her hand down the ground, and you can see the personas coming out, and then Nightlight and Xiang would be behind her. And if you're wondering why Misato's got her hand to her ear, she actually is wearing headphones. You can't really see it though because her hood's on. I thought maybe I should make the hood off of her so that way you could see them, but I already had the idea in my head and it didn't look good the other way around. So I just made her with the hood on. I didn't change it. And after that, I just kind of added an abstract background. I didn't want things to be too distracting, but I didn't want them to be just a white background. And for the most part, I'm very proud of this drawing. Like I said, it was very nice, fun thing to just kind of do your own original artwork, and it was very relaxing. I only had one part where I was annoyed, and that was with Vitus because he didn't have a proper reference sheet. Because like I said with Marlon, he didn't have a reference sheet either, but at least with Vitus, he did have a drawing, but he totally needed a reference sheet. And it's like, those reference sheets that I made for them weren't even that good, but it was better than what Vitus had. He had nothing. I first thought maybe I should put Nightlight in Misato's eyes reflection, but I was like, nah, that's not working out. It just looks like a blood, and you can't even see it, so just forget that. And then I had to figure out, it's like, okay, I want Vitus behind Xiang, but I don't want her hair to cover up him, so I kind of made him, like, in between, which I think is a suggestion my brother originally gave me. Vitus is actually taller than Xiang. Xiang is actually, around the same height and same age as me. I think I made her the same age as me so that way I could just have a point of reference of where everything took place, and I actually do that a lot in my series. Zura from my series Blue Song, that also, she is also the same age as me. Again, I just do it so that way it will be a point of reference to where time is. Because in Blue Song's case, it takes place in 2012, so it takes place in the past. But in the case of Revolution Full Color, it takes place in the future. Not far enough, though, apparently, because we're getting closer and closer to 2038. Oosh, that's actually freaky. By the time I finish with the series, it'll be in the past. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I had to say. That's pretty much the drawing. I hope you liked. If you did, do all the YouTube things. If you didn't and you're still here, thanks. I know this was a long video, but it was a lot of work. This was a lot of characters to do. But I'm very proud of it because it was just something that was meant a lot to me, and it was something that I wanted to do for a long time. And the only reason why I actually decided to do this now is because I'm going to be uploading all my profiles again, but I wanted some fan art. I wanted a big promotional picture to show off for Revolution Full Color, so that way if people wanted to see it, I could point to this. And so that is why I put everything on hold with my updating my profiles just so I could get this done. And in the end, it was worth it because I didn't rush for it. It was just a nice, relaxing draw. But anyway, that is all. Again, thanks for watching. Do all the YouTube things. I will be back with another video, hopefully real soon. It will be either another art-related video, which is not a speed paint, but it will be something else. I'll leave that to be a surprise. And hopefully I will also be back with Chapter 0 and Chapter 1 re-release. Well, I'm not sure about Chapter 0, but Chapter 1 will definitely be getting re-release. Anyway, bye! And spaghetti. And go. And the final two characters who I thought I would mention who are not here but are important to the series are Misato's cat, Sumi, and Dr. Wait, is R right or is it is? Is Sumi? I gotta think about that. I don't know, people. I don't know. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be as fun as my Wish review. I'm gonna go insane again. Yay!